All right, let's get right into it. We're not here to just review a book. No, this is something different. We're going on a journey, a deep dive into the absolute darkness of William Peter Blatty's novel, The Exorcist. We're going to peel back the layers of terror, one by one.
So the whole thing kicks off with just 3 words from the prologue. Something was waiting. Think about that for a second. Before we even meet our main characters, before we get to the familiar setting of Georgetown, Blatty throws us into northern Iraq. He's making a point here. The evil in this book, it's not some new thing. It's ancient, it's been patient, and it's just about to wake up.
Okay, so here we are in northern Iraq, and we meet Father Lancaster Marin. He's this priest, but also an archaeologist. And he digs up this truly grotesque amulet. It's the head of a demon named Pazuzu. Now, the horror here isn't some cheap jump scare, it's this deep, sinking feeling in your gut. Marin sees a statue of that same demon, and he just knows. He doesn't know what or where or when, but he is absolutely certain that an old enemy is stirring, and a fight is on its way.
And this is where Blatty really gets you. The contrast is just genius. One minute you're in these dusty, ancient ruins, and the next, bam, you're dropped right into a nice, cozy house in Georgetown, D.C. This is the home of Chris McNeil, an actress, and her little girl, Regan. You know, it's a world of movie scripts, fancy dinner parties, basically the most normal, modern, safe place you can think of. And of course, that's exactly where this ancient evil decides to set up shop.
So how does it all start? With a bang? Nope. It's almost silly. Just these faint tapping sounds coming from the ceiling. Chris hears them late one night while she's working. It's so subtle, you know? The kind of thing you just ignore. The book has this amazing line. It calls it an alien code tapped out by a dead man. And that's perfect, right? It's just off enough to make your skin crawl, but not enough to make you actually panic. Not yet, anyway.
And this is the key, really. It's all so ambiguous. You, the reader, are right there with the characters trying to explain it all away. Is it just rats? Maybe the pipes are acting up. You know, it's an old house, they make noises. It's this brilliant psychological game that makes those first few chapters so incredibly tense. You're trying to be rational, but your gut is just screaming at you that something is very, very wrong.
And then, this happens. Regan just says it, plain and simple. Mom, my bed was shaking. And with that one sentence, everything changes. Everything. It's not just some weird noise in the attic anymore. It's physical. It's in her room. That something else has made contact, and that slow, creeping feeling you've had, well, it's about to become full-blown terror.
And now we're into the real nightmare. I mean, for Chris McNeil, this is where it all falls apart. Regan starts acting, well, more than just strange. She's violent, bizarre. So what does Chris do? What would any of us do? She calls the doctors. She dives headfirst into the world of medicine, just desperate for an answer, for some kind of rational explanation for what's happening to her little girl. So they put poor Regan through the ringer. I'm talking painful, invasive tests, neurological exams, brain scans, hypnosis, you name it, they tried it. And the result? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Every single scientific tool, every modern medical technique, it all fails. And the book really hammers this point home. It wants you to understand, without a doubt, that whatever is going on with Regan, science has no answer for it.
And then, you get this one line. After every test has failed, a doctor just casually mentions, almost like an afterthought, that historically, people with temporal lobe disorders were often considered to be possessed by a devil. For the doctors, it's just a weird fact. But for Chris, it's the first time anyone has put a name to the horror. It's a key, and it's about to unlock a door that she would give anything to keep shut.
So, that's it. We've hit a wall. Science has failed, reason is out the window, and Chris is forced to face something she never thought possible, the thing that's twisting her daughter inside and out. It's not a tumor, it's not some rare psychological disorder. It's something else, something smart, something evil, and something very, very old.
Just look at this. It lays it all out, plain and simple. The total destruction of who Regan was, her voice, her language, her behavior, it's all gone. This isn't some illness making her act weird. This is a complete replacement. The shy, sweet kid who read comics is gone. And in her place is this thing with a monstrous voice, a filthy mouth, and a strength that is just not human. It's her, but the complete opposite.
Then, in a moment that will just freeze your blood, the thing inside Regan screams this at a priest, until the piglet dies. And right there, it's all laid bare. The horrifying endgame. This isn't just about causing pain and chaos. No, the goal is simple, and it's absolute. It wants to destroy the innocent host. It wants to kill the child. The stakes just went from sanity to life or death.
Okay, so all other options are off the table. Medicine, science, they've got nothing. Chris MacNeil is out of choices, so she turns to the one thing left, the last possible resort, the ancient rite of exorcism. And this is where the story has been heading all along. It sets the stage for a brutal, soul-crushing finale, a battle not just for Regan's life, but for the very souls of the men who are about to face this evil head-on.
So here's the thing. The big takeaway from the novel isn't just the spooky stuff. It's about this concept, sacrifice. See, the demon, it's a master manipulator. It doesn't just throw things around. It gets inside your head. It attacks the priest's faith, their biggest regrets, their deepest fears. And what the book is saying is that you can't fight that kind of pure evil with just rituals and prayers. The only thing that can truly beat it is the ultimate act of selfless love.
And you know, the book doesn't end with some big victory parade. It's much quieter, more human. Weeks later, the real ending is this friendship starting to form between a detective and a priest, two guys who have been absolutely wrecked by what they went through. It's a beautiful touch, really. It suggests that after you've stared into the abyss, maybe the only way back is through simple human connection. It's this tiny glimmer of hope that comes out of all that suffering.
So why are we still talking about this book decades later? I mean, it came out in 1971. I think it's because it does something brilliant. It pits our modern world against something else. It sets the story in Georgetown, the heart of logic, power, and science, and then it just unleashes this ancient thing that spits in the face of all of it. The terror lasts because it attacks our deepest belief that everything can be rationally explained. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The critics at the time went nuts for it. This wasn't just another horror story. It was a huge deal. They called it absolutely superb, a page-turner, completely gripping. But my favorite is this one, an experience you will never forget. And that really nails it, doesn't it? It taps into those primal fears we all have, losing control, our kids being in danger, and the terrifying idea that there's an evil out there that science just can't touch. So, for its raw, unflinching look at faith and doubt, for the incredible psychological tension that just never lets up, and for its massive cultural impact as, let's be honest, one of the scariest books ever written, we have to give it a 10 out of 10. It is a masterpiece, plain and simple. It earns every bit of its terrifying reputation. Look, if you enjoyed this journey into the dark and you're looking for what to read next, I've got two for you. First, you have to check out Ira Levin's Rosemary's Baby. It has that same kind of horror that invades a place that should be safe. Then there's Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. It's just a masterclass in building dread, where you're not sure if the ghosts are in the house or in your own head. And that's our deep dive for today. If you're into this kind of thing, getting into the guts of the stories that really stick with us, then you know what to do. Make sure you follow and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for hanging out.